Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is very soggy and we are not at home. I am going to be telling you a bit more about where we are in just a second, but first, the intro. Okay guys, so we are at our first training day of the Wesko Equestrian Foundation because if you missed the announcement, I have got onto the Young Event Riders Pathway for Grassroots Riders, and they put on fantastic training days with some of the best coaches in the country, and I'm very fortunate to be able to make use of it. So it's actually Thursday today. Tomorrow is the actual training day, but I have a jam-packed schedule, so much going on, so excited to vlog it. So we have come and we're staying over for tonight and then we'll go home tomorrow night. So I've just been and scouted out where our stables are, and I'm just fetching some tools from the horse lorry, thanking you.
Do you think we're going to bring the wheelbarrow out this way?
I don't really need it, do I?
Do you want this?
Yes, please.
I was just thinking to carry them across. Do you want the 3 pickles and get that at the same time?
Get that at the same time as the barrow. Yes, so we're just grabbing tools. As you can tell, it is delightful weather. And I have also got water buckets. Notice the plural. There are 2 little munchkins on the lorry. You'll carry the buckets, will you?
I will.
You're chief bucket carrier, I'm chief tool carrier. And
Come and get them all.
then we've not even dropped the ramp. It's been such vile weather. So we'll go and get the stables prepped and then get the ponies off.
What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We live it like this could be our final day. We're dreamers. Don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive.
Right then, that's the stables prepped. We're about to drop the ramp, grab the ponies off. Who are you going to take, Mum?
I don't care.
You don't care? Well, we've got Donut and Maggie here, so it's one of the 2 gingers. Alright, ponios, ready to come down?
A little longer than a few minutes later.
I'm not going to switch the lights on and upset everybody, but I brought Maggie's teddy bear. She does like it. I'm just going to give them a little check. Oh, good boy, Tony. Oh, they're side by side. Little lovebirds. And he's eaten up. That's great news. Got loads and loads of haylage. So I've brought a little bit of hay because Stoney likes a mix. And then Maggie has purely the haylage. Are you jealous? I'm very sorry. You can't have Maggie's horsehage. So that is our stuff here. The rugs are wet, so I'm letting them dry. It's all right, sweetheart. That's it. Good boy. Looking good. Right then, I'll put my extra tools that I skipped out the lorry just here. There we go. That's Maggie tools. Alright, sweetie pie. You ready for a teddy? Have you eaten up? You have scoffed that. You've eaten so much. She says, yes, super yummy. Gosh, they look a little bit evil with the flash reflecting off their eyes, don't they? Where is your bucket? Oh, it's there. She's eaten up. Good girlie. So, I think we're starting to fill up a little bit. Maggie's still not got a neighbour yet. That gelding next door to Donut, bless him, the lovely bay gelding, he's the one Maggie's not been very nice to. And yeah, I'm expecting there'll be more horses each time I come back, to be fair. But these two look pretty settled, pretty clingy to each other, so that might be interesting tomorrow. Hello everybody, welcome to Hotel Delilah, aka Zillary. We are about to have, what are we having, Mum?
M&S strawberry daiquiris.
Thank you very much, Lee. Make sure that you drink safely, guys, and are over 18 when doing so. We certainly are, and we certainly deserve a drink. We've had an eventful time with the lorry. It is peeing it down with rain, and there must be a little bit of water that's got in.
And I've got pina colada.
Woohoo! I like pina colada.
But you don't.
No, I don't. I don't like pina colada. Yeah, so we've had a little bit of water get into some of the horse lights, so we can only use the front horse lights, not the back horse lights, because we've been submerged into darkness 4 times, hence Mum having to sort out our fuses, because I pulled them out, and in the darkness we ended up opening them upside down. But engineer Evie here, or is it mechanic Evie? Am I electrician?
No, not quite yet.
That's electrical stuff. Electrician Evie here has saved the day. It's only took 4 fuses for us to figure out which switch we daren't switch on again. And we've still got, what, three of the same fuse left?
Loads of the same fuse.
Loads of the same fuse. So we got more chances in Crystal Maze of the horse lorry. The ponies are settled in. Maggie is in love with Donut. She also was next door to a gelding initially, and was being very mean to him. She doesn't like him. So we've switched Donut and Maggie over. Donut is now next door to the gelding. Donut likes the gelding, but Maggie doesn't like it when Donut talks to the gelding. So tomorrow might be fun when we start taking horses away. I can just see someone else has pulled up in their lorry, so I'm assuming by the time we go back to the stables there's going to be a lot more horses in there. I am praying that it stops raining soon, and we are just waiting for dinner, which is going to be lasagna a la mama. So
Well, it depends.
well, we're hoping we get lasagna. I forgot to check that we had enough gas before we set off, and when I went and switched the gas on, it felt very light. So I'm hoping we've got enough for an hour of gas, because as long as we have that, it's fine. We can cope without coffee in the morning, can't we?
No. I don't know what gave you that idea.
I might have to go on the scrounge and find somebody that will let me boil our kettle at their lorry if we run out of gas. But providing we get our lasagna, I will be happy. And then other than that, we're about sorted. This first time that we've both stayed in the lorry. I've stayed in here when it was camp, and you stayed away for Bramham.
We did have one night at
Oh, I slept over one night at Bramham, didn't I? But other than that, that is it. We got the boys with us. Good boys. And I managed to give Loki a haircut. He had the world's fastest haircut today. I literally got the clippers out, and 20 minutes later, you're looking beautiful, aren't you? So I'll give you a little bit of a tour of our accommodation. Okay, little tour of the accommodation. It won't take long, it's so not overly large. Here is the welcome mat, and here is the Bam Bam. This is our living that we're spending our time in. We've got an extra mattress up there, which, to be honest, Mum, we've actually got to figure out how to get that back down, because it took some wrestling up there. The table will be removed, and I shall be on the floor on the mattress. Luton for Mum, and then all of our spare kit is through here. So I've just swept all the bedding to the back, and then that's their feed bag. We've got some horsehage there, which Maggie is scoffling away. She absolutely loves her horsehage. Massive thank you for Horsehage for supporting us on our run up to BD Nationals. They have provided me with some forage for the Miss Moo, and it's so convenient for taking in the lorry because we've got one bale around there with them, and that'll probably last them for our day away. But if not, we've got this other bale, but it takes up next to no space and it's so tidy, and Maggie would quite literally kill for it, to be quite honest. Got some rugs up there, a spare head collar, travel boots. I've not been overly tidy because we are going home tomorrow night, so it's got to be rigged back up as a transportation vehicle, not just our lovely home. For what do we get in it? Less than 24 hours, about 20 hours.
Yeah.
20 hours as a home. So that is that, and I will update you as to whether we get dinner. Please keep your fingers crossed for us. Bam Bam says, keep your fingers crossed because I want lasagna for dinner too. You coming through? Hello. Hi. Goodness me. Gosh, these were clean on at lunchtime. Not anymore. We're back. I just wanted to show you what the amazing chef... Look at that for a camping fridge. Woo! What's this?
There's two there.
Oh my goodness! They look amazing. Wow! It's mine, not yours. That's yours. He says, swear word. We camp in style. We don't just have mature cheddar. We also have Jarlsberg or Jarlsberg? Jarlsberg. Jarlsberg cheese. So yeah, yummy. Although I have put a restriction on the fridge going on the gas until we have our lasagna, because lasagna comes first. We're still going. We're still cooking on gas. You okay, pokes? Okay then, guys, we can rejoice. We have cooked lasagna on our plates, haven't we, Mum?
Yep.
And we also have a little bit of salad. There's an apple pokey down there. And we're catching up on The Apprentice because... Is it the final this week?
I think so.
Right, I'm going to eat my lasagna. Good morning, everybody. It is... What time is it? About 40 minutes past 5, 20 to 6. And there's Loki. My little hot water bottle. I ended up in the Luton. And I've managed not to bang my head this time, which was good, wasn't it? Because it appears I set up quite a lot. Anyway, I am going to pop some clothes on and go and feed the ponies and check that they're okay. It's a little bit chilly. We've just popped some heating on in here, so I think I'll go and take them an extra rug as well. Hi guys, I look a little bit more myself now rather than with a bit of bed head going on. Okay, and half asleep. I've brought feeds down, so I'm gonna set them off to soak. And I'm gonna go say good morning to the gang. Good morning. Uh-oh, there's still flash on. We still look a bit divil. That's better, isn't it? Are we still bestest of friends, stood nose to nose? Good morning, Donut. You alright? I think these guys heard me with the buckets and I always feel very guilty. Are you eating? Hello, you're drinking. You're very pretty. Hi. These are some of our fellow trainees' horses, and then obviously Miss Moopy and Mr. Donny. Oh, hello, Moopy. Oh, it's a squeeze to fit your head through there, isn't it? Oh, is there so many other horses? Yeah. Donut won't put his head out, bless him. Doesn't like it. It's quite a narrow gap. So, Maggie was only putting her head out for a bit of horse hage yesterday even. Good girl. Good girl. Good girlie. okay spending time with other horses, isn't it? Hey? Hey? Good girl. You alright, Mr. Man? You happy boy? Seem much more settled. He obviously much prefers a barn over stables like my stables. I'm very sorry, Donut, but I don't have a barn. Cool. Oh, you coming out? Just about. Just a little bit. Clever boy. Good eggs. There we go. I've mucked out Maggie's stable. Good girlie. Got plenty to eat, you lucky bug. Mum is off getting the feeds that I've just left round by the water, which is down there. I'm about to do you, Donut Bear. Look, he's got his head out. I'm a bit nervous in case he runs in and bangs it up on that, but hopefully he won't. Fingers crossed. You right, girl? Right then. Oh, and the doggies are with us because they're good eggs. Okay, guys, ponies are done. I'm just having a quick scout around to see what the setup is. So I think they're all set up for a competition on Saturday. So I'll let you have a look at what I'm seeing. So I'm assuming there'll be dressage in here. But I don't know if our dressage lesson will be up top. I'll find out and show you all later. They're all set up for their competition. And then it's nice. This is sort of a bit of a surface, a bit of flags for them to get used to. And then all the jumps are set up in here. So I don't know if we're going to be doing the proper course or there looks like there's an exercise over there. And a telephone box of all things to find in an arena. Looks like it should be fun. And it's a beautiful day so far. I just hope it stays like it. This looks like it's got some really good exercises up. I mean, to be fair, by the time the trainer gets here it might all have changed, but that looks fun, doesn't it? Looks like hard work, but fun. Okay then, guys, turns out we were using the actual course of fences. Here you can see our trainer. This is Philip Searle, who is very well stood as a trainer, and I actually really enjoyed his lessons. I thought they were really useful. So Maggie's up first, obviously, and you can see we're chatting about the course, and he was quite keen to get us to work on the adjustability in our horse's pace. So then we just warmed up over a couple of fences, and he was saying don't make too much effort to fold too much. Make sure your horses are straight and balanced. Make sure you have plenty of gears in your canter. He described it as a dimmer switch. So a bit like with a light switch, you can have the lights on very pale or on very strong. We want to be able to go up those levels of the gears in the canter as if you're sort of turning that dimmer switch. So we're still having a bit of a warm up here. As you can see, Maggie's having a canter round. She's popped over the upright. Then we're going to come round to the oxer here. And I just get her in a little bit deep, which makes her make a lovely shape. But Philip actually just said, you know, if she starts to run herself off of her stride, don't protect her. Let her run herself off, because then she'll back off in the future. So here we're just starting to ride around a bit of the course, and you can see she had that first rail down, and she doesn't like touching a pole, so she then started being very careful afterwards. But I feel like we got our mojo back a little bit by fence 4 and 5, which was much better. Now we're coming round to the double. Normally I will show Maggie a double before we jump a course, and I will hunt her in. Today, because it was training, I decided just to sit quiet and ride it like a normal fence. And that is what happens when I ride Maggie at a double like a normal fence. She's very careful and she just chickens out a little bit. So unfortunately, Mum didn't video straight after she went and helped rebuild the fence. So I'm just going to show you the start of this course again. We have this rail down. This fence is okay. I muck up this turn a little bit and I end up on a half stride and not particularly making a decision. And I think that's where actually I don't help Maggie out and I make her feel a little bit worried. And I should have just thought, you know what, power up to that double and give her a bit more confidence rather than testing her and sitting to wait to see if she would actually take it on. So we'll see the stop again and then you'll see us jump around the course afterwards. And you see I put my leg on, but just maybe a little bit too late, especially knowing that she's a bit sticky with doubles. So we did jump it again before and finish off the course before I came and jumped this second course. But as you can see, by the time I come to the second course, I'm a lot more like, come on, let's get this sorted and crack on with it. And Maggie looks a lot happier for it. So, yeah, much more workmanlike round. She's quite careful, so you don't have to be super duper slow. As Philip said, just make sure she's off your leg at this stage just before and then settle her. And we didn't get a perfect stride in, but she went anyway and we dealt with it. And then again, my reins get a little bit long, but that's okay because she can stick her neck out and assess the situation herself. So then it was about settling and making sure that when we haven't had a perfect jump before, we can settle and then make sure that the next fence isn't affected by our jump before, if that makes sense. I think that's it for Maggie. So that's the group that we were in. They were lovely. And that is Maggie with her teddy bear. She was a very, very good girl. That is the first lesson down. I am now back in the lorry. It was a little bit excitable getting them ready. We'd brought Maggie back to the lorry to get her ready and left Donut, when actually I think it's just going to be so much calmer to get whoever ready in the stables and leave them, because apparently Donut behaved once he'd had a little bit of a chance to settle down. So we're back in here. It is it's 20 to 11. I've got rider nutrition at 11 o'clock, so I'm very, very quickly, no rest for the wicked, just getting a little bit of work sent off for approval with one of my clients, and then I'm going to dash to my rider nutrition session, which will swiftly be followed by horse nutrition in the slot after that. I don't know whether I've been wise or not organising it at quite such quick timings, but it's a bit jam-packed with all of the horses going so many sessions. So anyway, back to work and I'll see you in a bit. Hello. Got a snoozing Donut. It's just starting to rain outside. I've had my rider nutrition session, so we've been through so many bits. It's been like what do you eat in a day? What are your stress levels like? What are your energy levels like? What do you usually sleep? What time do you go to bed? What time do you get up? Etc, etc. And had a good old chat through with the lovely lady that's running it, and I can't remember her name. I'll put it in here. But it was really good. It seemed really holistic. And now it is just chucking it down and taking these guys for their nutrition side. It's sort of raining, but not much. I've got a little pack-a-mac on Donut over his stable rug to keep him dry. And I can't hear Maggie whinnying, so despite her telling me off as I was taking him away, I think she's settling in to spending time in the stable by herself. She's got other friends around, just not Donut. I'm gonna take him away. Okay then guys, this is a really quick view at what we did with the nutritionist for the horses. I quickly talked through what feed they're on and their exercise, etc. And then we weighed them. So we did this for both Maggie and Donut. They were both really amenable to have a go at climbing on the scales, but they didn't quite understand the standing on initially, so it took a couple of tries and then they were quite good. Before we go on to the jumping with Donny, I just want you guys to stop and comment what you think the difference in kilograms is between Maggie and Donut. And then it was Donut's turn to have a jumping lesson with wonderful Philip. So again, we were on the same principles, same routine as the last lesson. And we're just having a warm up over this single fence. It took a lot more jumps for Donut to settle down. As you can see, he was really quite fresh, quite a keen bean. But as he started settling, he started getting a bit more straight and listening to me a lot better. So again, we were working on the same principle of the dimmer switch analogy of being able to shorten and lengthen his strides smoothly, which is an aim for me with my horses. They've both got really big rangy canter strides, and I do still find it quite hard to adjust them. This was an interesting moment where one of the other persons in my group's horse came out very, very fresh. He managed it very well for the session, but I also was very proud with Donut for just ignoring it and getting on with the job. So yeah, now we've come to pop around a course, and you can see he's still quite argumentative, which means that we end up a bit fighting in the hand, and he can often just tip one in front then or behind because he's jumping a little bit hollow too. I feel like this line was fairly okay, but everything was just happening quite fast, which is how it feels in a round with Donut. So Philip was then just saying right here, he was saying, right, close the canter a bit, steady the canter, do the homework before you come to the fence. And he jumped in lovely, but then just touched that, I think, and then jumped to number 7 quite neatly and finished off the round fairly neatly. But what we did discuss after this round was riding him much more proactively, of doing the homework in between the fences, using the whole arena and getting him really back on side before we even had a fence in front of him, so I could then soften. So then we come to jump our second round, having had that discussion. And you can see it's starting to look a little bit more refined. And I'm able to get his shoulders up and ride him more forward to the fence rather than pulling all the way to the fence. My line 2 to 3 on Donut was so much better than Maggie. I used a lot more space, which gave him more chance to be square. And again, I just did the work and then was soft. And he actually added a stride down here, which shows how soft he was. I'm really pleased with how his jump's coming along. He's really, really scopy horse, it appears, which is great to be sat on, is a good feeling. And again, we went soften and he jumped through a lot better. Not tidiest in the world, but he's able to use his head and neck and his own responsibility. And as you can see, it's looking a lot more relaxed and a lot easier for me to ride. So I was quite pleased. I think I lost it slightly for this last fence, but it's definitely a goal of mine to keep this going and be able to get him to ride a really settled show jumping round. So that will be this season's goal. And I just also wanted to acknowledge that they both jumped a clear round for their second round. So I was really, really pleased with that. It showed what we'd learnt in the lesson was obviously working, and I want to make sure that I go home and carry that on. I really did value Philip's input. Right, next on to Maggie's dressage lesson.
What's your type? Somehow I wanna know all about you. Deep connection lights a spark. You already know me when we dance in the dark. We're dreamers.
Okay then, on to our dressage lesson. So this was a session with the lovely Nikki Herbert, and you can see me just chatting through with her what Maggie's been up to and what we're working towards, which is obviously our eventing scores, but also a bit more in the forefront, the fact that we've got BD Nationals coming up in April. So I said the main thing I wanted to work on with her was her self-carriage and working more uphill. So Nikki sent us off to go and warm up by ourselves, and as you've seen, I've asked her to canter on both reins, but bending both ways on each of those reins, so using a bit of counter flexion to make her move her ribs both ways and get my legs on her. I then started working in some transitions of going walk, trot, canter, canter, trot, walk. 1, to get her listening to me, and 2, to get her hind leg stepping under, so we can start to bring the frame that her bottom is ideally lower than her front end. Nikki then wanted me to start working Maggie's pull a bit up and out so that we're not riding her as deep, and do some more direct transitions. So we were working with the canter walk and walk canter. As you can see, we were using a small circle to prepare this aid, and I was getting a much more direct transition. Something that Nikki got me to change. Usually I ask for the canter walk by closing my knee and thigh. That got us a couple of steps of trot, so she suggested opening my knee and thigh, which you can just about see, and actually closing my lower leg for the transition. And you can see that was a little bit abrupt, if anything, but it was so much more direct, so I'll definitely be working on doing that a bit more in the future. We then went on to doing a little bit of rein back. I've only got this one clip of it. She did a much nicer one afterwards, but I was really pleased with this because it was straight and quite obedient. So I was very, very happy with her. And then when we came around the next time, she actually did a square halt and then 4 clear steps back, which was fantastic. Then once we'd managed to get her frame going a bit more up and out, Nikki said, go and have a little bit of fun and play with the medium trot. And we just used the whole edge of the arena, and she just said, keep her going, keep the revs up and go all the way around. So the thing for these Wesko sessions was they were only 45 minutes long, so it was sort of like a good taster. But I think as we get to know the trainers, when we go a couple more times, it will get better and better. And I really felt like I took so much away from each session that we had, which was fantastic. And I was so pleased with Maggie's medium trot that we were getting. Just look at that. She's actually got a bit of suspension. She went a little bit hollow then, but overall, really, really super. My goodness, that was a whirlwind of the day. And also, look at the sky. It's like blue there, ominous there, and we're getting rain on. It's here, there, and everywhere. We have been going non-stop all day. Crazy. I've not got half the footage I was wanting to get of, like little behind the scenes, but there's going to be a lot of training to see. So we've got both horses loaded up, stables have been mucked out and given back effectively. Here are the boys having a quick walk because they have been a little bit neglected today, because I've literally just not had time to do anything with them, so Mum's had to do what she can to keep on top of them. And yeah, and then looking straight for a puddle. So yeah, I'm just going to sort the last bits out in the lorry living, and we're going to get on the road because it's about 5:45 now, and we've got, I don't know, around about 2 and 3/4 hours to drive home. So yeah, but the ponies have been full of themselves, but you've been pretty good, haven't you? No, goodness me, look at that. So yeah, the day is done. We've had really, really good lessons. Fantastic dressage lesson on Maggie, 2 fantastic jump lessons, 1 on each. We've weighed the ponies. Amazingly, they are less than 10 kilos difference. Obviously Donut should be a little bit heavier given he's a bit taller, but by the same token thoroughbreds are built finer through. But I expect he would be about bang on if he hadn't have done that massive weight drop just before we came, because he had the change of routine of coming into a stable and going on a tiny weeny bit of hunger strike when he was indoors. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. Got a few bits to tidy up in here, but that is it. Massive thank you to Wesko for letting us come and join in, and we are going to be very glad to be heading home with lots of snacks. I think I might take some cheese and biscuits because didn't get very long for lunch. You ready?
I'm going.
I'm going. Let's go. Bye.